All right, so this was the problem that we were working on in class before we were rudely interrupted by the fire drill. So the first thing that you have to do in this problem is figure out what R is. So we're going to say R is equal to, and you can always take a term and divide it by the previous term to figure out what R is. So I'm going to take 162, and I'm going to divide it by 486, which is equal to 1/3, which makes sense because if we look at these, the terms are getting smaller, so it makes sense that we're dividing them by 3, which is the same thing as multiplying times 1/3. Okay, so with that being said, you, I believe, got set up on this problem, and we said we want to find the value of R. Nope, sorry, wrong one, that was the first one. Find the value of N when U of N is equal to 2. And then you set this up beautifully and you said, okay, so 2 is equal to, you got to start off from your first term, 486, and then you're going to multiply that by 1/3 to the n minus 1. Perfect. So from here, then you divided both sides by 486. That's an 8. These cancel out. And then if we reduce that, I would get 1/243. And that's going to be equal to 1/3 n minus 1. Okay, and we said that this can be distributed to each one of these terms here. So this will actually become 1n minus 1 over 3 to the n minus 1. And we know that 1 to any power, it doesn't matter what it is going to be 1. So I'm just going to rewrite this because this is equal to 1. I'm just going to rewrite it so that I have 1 over 243 is equal to 1 over 3 to the n minus 1. Okay, now what makes this confusing now, besides the variable and the exponent, is that I have everything that I have in the denominator. So I could actually solve this right here, but just to be more specific, more exact and more correct, I'm just gonna change it up a little bit. So I'm gonna multiply both sides by 3n minus 1 times 3n minus 1, and then I'm gonna multiply both sides by times 243 times 243. And what's going to happen is these will cancel and these will cancel, and I will get left with 3 to the n minus 1 is equal to 243. Now, if you want to know what it's really just cross multiplication, right? I just multiplied these guys and those guys and to get this equation. All right, next step, if I'm looking at this, okay, so I need to figure out, how do I figure out what this variable is? And yes, you can use logs, but there's no need to. It's simpler than that. So when I'm looking, what I want to do is I want to get this number to be in the form of this. So I want to figure out, is this a power of 3? Well, it turns out it is. So I want you to pause the video and see if you can turn this into a power of 3. So in other words, I want to write this equation here as 3 to the n minus 1 is equal to 3 to the power of what? No, I'm being serious. Pause the video and try it yourself, Maddie. Okay, so what we should have gotten, I'm just going to erase this so that line doesn't confuse us. So what you should have gotten is that 243 is the same thing as 3 to the power of 5. So I'm just going to rewrite this as 3 to the power of 5. Well, now that we have the same bases, 3 to the n minus 1 is equal to 3 to the 5. Oh, well now we just have to look at the exponents and they actually become our equation. So now I have n minus 1 is equal to 5. So n must be equal to plus 1 plus 1. N must be equal to 6. So the number of term is 6. So u of 6 is equal to 2. Only thing else I can say is you could have figured this part out in your head. N minus 1, 3 to the n minus 1 is the same thing as n 3 to the 5. So n must be 6 if it's going to be the same thing as 5. I don't know. Anyway, I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any other troubles. Good luck.